Net, the voice of Chester.
My name is Omar Skinner.
My name is Brielle.
My name is Rainier Chapman.
My name is Pamela.
Expecting father. I'm kind of nervous. Don't really know what to expect for it.
I am a single father of two, one boy, one girl.
I have a husband of almost 7 years. We have one child, which is a baby girl.
I have been a godmother for 5 years now.
The show Parenting with a Purpose gives you great information to learn and see other people's point of view from different perspectives. Just take it and take heed to what they say and put it into your lifestyle.
Parenting with a purpose for me would be leading my daughter into the world, showing her that she's not in this world by herself.
We all know that it takes a village to raise a child.
Just being there for other individuals to know, like, you're not alone. There's resources out here, there's villages out here for you to be a part of. And when you're connected with Parenting with a Purpose, you have all those things right at your front door.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Parenting with a Purse. I am your, Parenting with a Purse. Yo, we got that bag, yo. Welcome back. Welcome back to Parenting with a Purpose. I am your host, Donna Janel.
And I am your co-host, Pamela.
And you know, I can't believe I said the purse. That means that somebody needs to be filling up this purse right now. How's everybody doing? We are here back in the studio with another episode of Parenting with a Purpose. As you know, parents are the bows and our children are arrows, and they will lay in wherever we aim them as long as we equip them. You know, our job as parents is not to send them outside naked because the world will close them. As you can see now, they're closed with all types of stuff. I mean, you can identify as a cat these days, y'all, so you just don't know what's going on with our kids in this world. Yes. So it's our job and our responsibility to make sure that we close them well so that they be tight and right and successful, right? As you know, that our mission is to bring back the responsibility, nobility, and beauty back into parenting, right? And how do we do that? Several ways, like holding parents accountable. You know, there's a mandate on parenting right now, so we're holding parents accountable to stand up for your kids. Do what you need to do. Parent, it's your responsibility to parent your child. Now, there's several resources out here that we could use to help us, different tools, but at the end of the day, matter of fact, at the beginning of the day, the middle of the day, and the end of the day, it's our responsibility, right? So we want to hold on to that responsibility. So today we have do I want to talk about, and did she talk my inner gangster this week? What did she do this week? No, she's been pretty good. She's wrestling, y'all. The one, the 16-year-old Donna, who's testing my inner gangster. She been good this week, y'all. She wrestling. So she's taking all that energy out on the mats. So we've been good this week. But I do have, guess what? You know the one, Lizzie Marines, she hit me up today, and she is like TT, because she called me TT. And she was like, yo, I went to Walmart, I went shopping. I was like, what? She was like, so she sent me a picture of all these groceries, because now that she's in a dorm, and she was like, listen, we ain't finna be cooking, we ain't finna be buying food every night. We ain't here cooking. I heard that. She was like, Cece, I got a rice cooker. She said, I got one of the ones that you got, the 8-in-1. I can make my chicken in there. I can make my rice in there. She was like, I'm not gonna be spending all this money out here. She said, she said, my friend said that you went down them aisles so quick. Did you shop all your life? Lizzie said she went down every aisle, got exactly what she needed. She was out. They was like, Pittman, you moving too fast. You moving too fast. But she literally got all the fruits and vegetables and everything she needed. And I was like, look at you out here being in the dog. Right. She was like, I am. Nice. And I thought that was pretty cool, because she sent me a picture of like a bag, like all these groceries on the floor, like it is when at home when we get all the groceries. And I was like, wow, she smart.
You be taking longer in the grocery store?
No, So the way I shop, y'all, we need to introduce Kim first, because I'm gonna tell y'all, like, cause the way I shop, I do online. First of all, COVID done spoiled me. Oh, like, wow. I do online, cause listen, I ain't got time. So I shop online, and sometimes I pick up, but I get my groceries delivered. Like, I'm not even, the only thing I pick up is my BJ's. I go pull up my car, pop out my trunk, they put it in the car for BJ's. But other than that, y'all bringing this to my door. Listen.
I want to be like you.
I
For
need to
real.
touch my own stuff.
Me too. It's certain stuff.
Now,
Okay,
now,
so we
fruits and vegetables and stuff like I go get and stuff
Yeah.
like that. But the other stuff, no, I ain't doing that. All right, we need to introduce our guests because we don't went into the grocery store. got some food.
Yeah, so tonight, guys, we have an amazing guest. Her name is Kimoke, but she's known as Kim, a special ed educator. She's also a loving mother, a devoted wife. She's just like very awesome. She'll tell you a little bit more about herself. You said say your name, Kim. It's on you.
Okay, so I am Kim, and often when I say I'm Kim, they say okay, and I'm like, yeah, that's my name, Kim. Okay, but anyway, I have been a special educator for more than 20 years. That's all you're gonna get, and I love it. It's what I do. It's what I've done since a young child. Actually, what got me interested in special education was a birthday party that my cousin had, my younger cousin
Oh,
had.
you ever shared this?
And there was a young girl there who was deaf. I may have been 10, she might have been 6.
Wow.
And I was just so concerned about making sure that she could communicate, interact, engage, because she wasn't. So she became my best friend. And I just helped her, and it inspired me to learn sign language. I know some now, but I haven't been as
I was
consistent.
going to ask you, is that how you know sign
That's
language?
where the interest sparked. Yep.
Oh wow.
Yeah, and then from then on, I just became everybody's teacher. At 12, I was a living babysitter for one, but like 10 kids would be at the house. Because they knew that I can handle them. They were sitting down singing a pile of spaghetti all covered with cheese. Everybody was
Kim,
singing
let
those
me find out you got a voice.
songs.
Hold on.
Oh,
Wait.
Kim sing.
Surprise her with something.
What, a song?
No, you know what I'm talking
Oh, the
about.
baby? Oh, yes, I do voices too. You want to hear one?
What?
Ready?
Watch this.
Yo.
Oh, I was supposed to be a secret for the Christmas program, but anyway,
Wait.
yeah. So I just do whatever it takes to make kids feel comfortable and learn. And if I have to cry like a baby or talk like Elmo, I do it.
Yo, flag on the
Who
play.
wouldn't want them in their living room?
Right. That is
It's like,
awesome.
I take
Yeah.
offense if a kid doesn't vibe with me, so I'm going to do what I need to do to make it happen.
Wow.
Families too. Even though adults are a little harder, I don't understand them as much as I do the kids.
Well, I guess not. I'm
But-
talking like, don't understand
But
you
it's,
either.
I have to do it because ultimately what I do now with my everything I do is part-time. But with my main job is early intervention. So I go into the homes with the babies. Usually it's birth to 3. I usually have 2-year-olds. But anyway,
They
and
something.
you know, it's really parent training. A lot of them like to sit and watch me like I'm a TV show. But I'm like, no.
Can you blame them though? I mean, all this you just did. But go ahead.
And they do, but it's like, okay, I do it. Now it's your turn because I'm there for 1 hour once a week.
Right. Yeah, okay.
And I want to come back and I'm going to say, oh, did you try? Did you try? And they might like, well, can you do it this time? All right, let's practice it together. You want to act silly too. I love what I do.
It's almost
And
like
I
teaching
want
in therapy.
Yes.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
want everybody to feel comfortable. But first, I have to make them feel comfortable. I take my shoes off. I sit down on the floor. I don't even mind, like, if it's stuff around. I just pretend like I don't see it. Unless it's a bug, I might say, oh, excuse me, can we stop? You know, but...
She said it's a
You know,
bug.
not
We stop.
that way, but I
Flag
have to
on the
be
plate. There's a
fair.
butt club over here. It's not part of the group. It's
You
not
don't
part of
see
the
this?
session. Yo,
Right.
this bug is not part of the session today, okay?
And I've learned over time how to say it in a way that it still makes them feel comfortable to let me back in next week.
Because yo, sis, come over here and get this.
But the truth is the truth.
Right, yeah. I get it because I'm in home care, so I'm in people's homes.
Yes. Yes. And it's
And
like,
not an hour, Kim. I'm
you
in
have
people's
to-
homes.
oh, for more
8
than an hour.
hours, overnight.
I'm in, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm in, I'm out.
Now let me ask you a question because I love this about you. Can you tell us the importance of early intervention? And the reason why I'm prefacing this question first is because I got a follow-up question. Well, a follow-up question statement after that.
Okay.
Tell me why early intervention is so important.
Okay. Well, one, learning starts in the womb. Talking to your child, talking, singing. My son got scriptures read to him, and he was born premature. So he had that for 80 days straight, right on me. But it's like they can hear, they can understand, even though they're not communicating, yet they're able to understand, and they're able to hear, and they get that connection with you. And why wait? And if, let's say, there is a delay, you want to address that delay as soon as possible.
Right.
Therefore, when they get older, it's gone.
It's gone.
But it's like the longer you wait, the harder it is for them to try to master skills that they've already lost or have been behind on. So that's why I think.
So I was listening to, I deal with medically complex peds, so the preemies and all that, and then Joshua himself was born preemie, and he had a lot of different speech delays and things like that. So I was listening to Dr. Umar. Are you familiar with Dr. Umar?
Yes, I heard
Okay. So I was listening to he was on somebody's podcast, and they deem him as the black guy pretty much. And he has said that we got to stop letting people evaluate our kids early. Give them some time and saying all this crazy stuff. And it's like, I've been doing peace for 24 years, and I see the importance of early knowing awareness and things like that, intervention. Yes. And he was just saying that our black community got to stop letting these people diagnose our kids and stop, you shouldn't be diagnosing or even evaluating for autism until they like 6, 7, or 8. And I was like, I don't know where he's from, what planet he's from.
We had this talk.
Because I'm like, that's ridiculous.
Agree.
You do?
I do.
Yeah.
Help me understand that, because I've been...
When I go into the home.
Well, not particularly just for autism or anything.
Well, put it this way. Yes, I do feel like if there is a delay, then it needs to be addressed.
Right.
Birth to 3 is free, people. Get those people in there that your child does not have to be diagnosed, but the need is going to be addressed. Like I had a family today ask about diagnosing for autism. And I said, I don't care. My focus is on what does he need? Does he need to interact with others? Does he need to follow directions? Does he need to label? Does he need, what does he need to do?
Right.
That's what I'm going to address. So it doesn't matter what the disability is. I'm addressing and focusing on the delay.
Right.
So if there is something that your child, and everybody is everywhere all over the developmental spectrum.
Right.
But if there's something that you see that your child should be doing and they're not, or, it's, get those people in there. Get me in there.
Evaluation is important. I'm not saying because we don't diagnose under 3 anyway with autism, right?
Some families do, and I just say.
Well, the doctors do it to families because there's a rule.
Well, the doctors may suggest, but oftentimes I get the families wanting to know. So
but we don't, as a doctor's office, they will not diagnose you with for autism depending on where you go, because some private practices do, but. Evaluation is important.
Yes.
Right? Early evaluation.
Yes.
Because I've seen firsthand what early evaluation do. And I think a lot of people will get hung up on different diagnoses.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Because I remember in different situations for development growing up for parents, but a lot of times what we try to, at least as a nurse, what I try to emphasize is that the diagnosis actually help you get more resources.
Yes.
I have parents who crying and upset that their child is diagnosed with CP or something like that. And what I try to explain to them is that now you're able to get the extra resources, because if they don't diagnose your child, I'm not talking about early, but if they don't diagnose your child, you're not getting those extra resources. Right. So a lot of times people get hung up. So when Dr. Umar was saying, the way he was prefacing is that you don't get your child evaluated. And that's my concern, is if you as a parent know that your child has a speech delay or just not communicating well or something's off, why wouldn't you want your child evaluated? That's what early intervention is for, so that we stop it before it becomes a problem.
So evaluated, not diagnosed.
Right. Yeah.
Because
he was saying,
you want to give them a chance. So
right.
Yes.
So but he was saying, don't let them evaluate. Don't let nobody evaluate your kid at such a young age.
Well, that's how they get the services.
Yeah. So, and then I'm but what we supposed to do? Just let them be not, I'm confused.
And did he say what his reasoning was?
He was saying because, they want to do all this extra stuff to black kids, this, that, and the other. And I'm just like, dude, what planet you been? I understand that, but I see both sides, right? Yeah. I see my own child, right? Actually, I see 3 sides. I see my own child. I see how other parents think about it in their perspective, and I see the medical side.
Yes.
And I see firsthand what early evaluation do so that these kids don't grow up with it. And then here's the other thing. So if we don't evaluate these kids and get these kids early intervention, now they're growing up, they got delays and stutter, then they're getting teased and all this other stuff because the parents dropped the ball.
Yep.
Like, it comes more than just, oh, something's wrong with my child or there's some type of delay, because delay is not denial, first of all. And I just,
something more has to be addressed.
Yeah.
My son was born at 26 weeks, fast. But anyway, I knew what I knew, but I learned more because of him.
Yeah.
So the speech part really came into play because he was delayed with language, and they were like, "No, he's fine." Okay, because I'm working with him. But come on, they didn't want to give him the speech services. So I went to a program through Easter Seals, and it was the Hannon method, which I use today. It was awesome.
Okay.
Because it forced me as a parent to look at my child differently based on what I usually do. Nope, you sit back and watch. You let them come to you more. So I'm able to help other parents more so because of what I had to go through with him.
Yeah,
but
I get that.
I wanted the services. I wanted them to say, look at him, because he was premature, but they were like, he's fine, but his elbow.
With a lot of things, though.
His elbow was kind of, and somebody just said, you know what, I see what you say. It wasn't that he was delayed, so to speak, but he just had something that needed to be addressed.
Right.
So he got OT and PT, and I just ate it up. Oh, do this. Nope, they said you had to do this. Nope, you got to stand up. And he probably was sick of me, but it just helped. But that's my role as a special educator, especially for early intervention, is to make the parents be their own best advocate for their child.
Absolutely.
Jump in there. So
if
I can do that.
Being your own best advocate.
Yeah, because I know, like,
why not?
Yeah, why not? And I get what you're saying. I know having Joshua being premature and as complex as he was, it helped me be a better nurse.
Yes.
But being a nurse also helped me be a better parent.
Yes.
It kind of like hand in hand. I grew so much in my nursing, and then I grew so much in my parenting. And when you talk about being an advocate for your kid, like, you really, really got to advocate for them just to make sure that they get all the things that they need.
Yes.
That's the important. Like, we all want our kids to be successful, right? And like, sometimes what I found, and I don't know if you see this or not in parents, it's like, a lot of times parents are embarrassed.
That's what I was going to say.
And they kind of like ignore it or avoid it. And then next thing you know, it's like a bigger problem when they're in school and they actually go to like elementary school, and then they present a problem, and they're like, we need an IEP because this kid needs all this extra attention. And the parents was like, well, what? No, baby girl, it's been going on.
Yes. I know. And then, like, for me, my services is so popular, early childhood special educator, because it's easier to swallow than speech or physical therapy, or it's easier to swallow. But I do a little bit of everything, and then if I see the need that someone else needs to come in, I'm coaching the parent. I'm in. Guess what? It's early. Let's get as much as they need right now, so that when they get older, and usually they go along with it. But I mean, it's a lot to have someone come into your home. And it's like, they want to say, oh, maybe I'm not doing this right. You are. And that's why we're going to do it together. When I come in, oftentimes they want to leave.
No, parent involvement. Come on in.
Yes. They look at me like, and then when I train people too, they come in and they observe and they get involved. Like if they have to take over the session, nope, I don't do that. I may play with the child for like 10 minutes, and then I was like, here, get the ball to mommy. And if I see the parent, trying to stray away, I'm like, go give this to mommy. Come on, let's go. Daddy, go get that. Because you have to. And that's my, I guess, biggest challenge is to let the parents know that it doesn't stop with me. I think I'm pretty good.
I like that.
But I need your help because you have to do it. And I really want to know, did you try to have them pull apart the block when I wasn't here?
Right.
And if not, what can I do to help you do it? If you did do it and they didn't, what do I need to help make them be able to do it?
So I have a question. Do you interview them before you go into the house?
Not interview. So they'll say, would you like this client? And I'll say yes, usually based on the address, because I like to travel close to where I am.
Oh, okay.
But my first impression when I do the evaluation, and really it's just paperwork.
Right.
And then I ask them a whole bunch of questions about the different developmental areas. I paint the picture of what it looks like. Even when I'm not really working with the child because I'm doing paperwork, but it's like the whole time I'm saying, oh, can you stand him up like that? Let me see if he can do this. Oh, can you give him that cup? Let's see if he can tap it together. So I'm already building that standard that you're going to be in here doing it too.
Yeah, I
Yes.
like that because so many times, and I don't know what it is, but a lot of times parents, they pass the buck to someone else, and we see that in early intervention. We see it earlier childhood. We see it in a lot of different things. It's like, all right, here it is. You fix them. You do this and that and the other. And here at Parenting with a Purpose, like we've really since September been honing in on parental involvement.
Yes.
And how important it is.
And it is probably personality too, because there are many, many therapists. And a lot of times parents say, oh, well, they don't do that, or they don't, well, guess what? This is Miss Kim. Come on, get in here.
Kim hit her with a smile.
Yeah.
Wait, Kim hit her with wait, do you make the noise too? Do you do something like, hey, this is Kim?
If I have to. Like today I work with a child who, she is very medically fragile with the vent and everything. If you could not see her, you would think I was working with a child that was running around the room, because that's how I feel that they're going to be. So that's how I do. I was like, go girl, come on, up, you want to go up. It's just like I have to live it for them until they can live it themselves.
Wow, you can tell that you love this too, Kim. Like your cheeks are
love
like
it.
up
She
high.
really
Like
does.
no, but that's
Ask my
good.
nieces.
Cause you find cause it's not conventional. It's not one way.
No.
You really meet them where they are and bring them up where they
Yes.
need to be. And I
Yes.
think that's a word right there. Meet them where they are and bring them where they need
Yes.
to be.
They have somewhere to go.
Yep.
Oh,
And
Shabba.
if, look, you going, come on, you going.
But that is so important now. I think I love your approach, Kim, because parental involvement is so important, because at home we are the first teachers, we're the first lovers, we're the first everything, cheerleaders, and a lot of times we want to pass the buck, and I think that it's such a mandate on parenting right now that we have to from womb to the tomb.
Yes.
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 And I never thought about it like the personality thing.
Yes. Yep.
Like even with certain dads, like I'll hear them tell my husband like, oh my gosh, you do this with Victoria, you do that. Whoa, I ain't start doing that till my child was like 6, and he's like, what? There are daughters. Why wouldn't you want to do that with your daughter? Why wouldn't you want them to experience that from their father?
Right.
And different things, and they'll be like, I guess I never looked at it like theirs. It hasn't been exposed to me like that because it's a little girl, but if it's a little boy, then it's okay. But then you still have fathers who will be standoffish until the child gets a certain age.
Right.
Like I have a family member who, in their relationship, it was mom takes care up until 5th grade. Like she deals with them to the same, and then after 5th grade, it's all dad.
Oh wow. I get.
She said because they had boys. And she said it's certain things after they say they need you hands on. If I need to show up here and there, but for you, they need you hands on.
It's together. We're better together.
Yeah.
I get the dads
said they
involved.
need
They
the
hide on the
nurturing.
couch, but
The
I'm
dad-
like, oh, go give it to daddy. Or like the dad will say, oh, he's not gonna do well today. Says who?
Right.
Let's see.
Right,
Let's feel it
yeah.
out. Okay, he might be tired. And then he's like, oh, you did well. Okay, now go give this truck to daddy. Now when he gets it, you go ready, set, and wait, go. It's like coaching him, and then they're involved, and now they come and sit. I have one day, he's like, wait a minute, we didn't do the songs. That's the best part. I'm like, okay,
They're ready to do the song. Like, don't be scared. Don't be sure changing us today,
Yes.
Kim.
Right. We're all in this together. And a shameless plug, but which births Creative Connections Virtual Preschool, which is just up and running because a lot of my babies, when they turn 3, they may not qualify for anything.
Right.
But it's still those opportunities for the parents to get in there and coach and teach and train with support from a special educator that's going to push them to do it and give them tools to do it. So, it doesn't stop there. They still have to, after they turn 3, they have to get kindergarten ready. When they get into kindergarten, they have to do that.
They always get ready to go somewhere.
Yep.
My son is 14 in high school now, and I am so thankful, thank you God, that I can back off of him because the work was done.
Yeah.
He knows the expectation. He knows the routines. He knows the consistency. And teenagers, they try you.
And he got honor roll
Don't
too.
they? Yeah,
Yes, he does.
They do. Do
And
he
now
test you
he's
in the
saying-
gangster? You got it
Yes,
in the
he
gangster?
does. Yes, he
Yeah.
does.
You
Yep.
got it in the gangster? I know you do. Never
Yes.
mind. Oh, yeah.
But you have to.
Yeah.
But it's just to Kai, and I tell him now, Kai, do you understand what mommy's doing? Do you understand why I did this? Do you see now? And like when I see if he gets an 80, I'm like, oh, you need to go study. You're not failing, Kai, but what I'm telling you is that you are 100% material. So if you don't get that 100%, then you're going to study until you do get it. And if you don't get it, at least you know you put your best effort in.
Right. I like the best effort thing. I know, like, and it's probably, we switching the subject a little bit. I had a conversation with a friend, and we were talking about, like, what we pour into our kids and how we, education-wise, right? And I remember with my oldest daughter, who's now 25, like, I push education, like, you need to be the best of the best, the highest of the highest, the greatest of the greatest. Like, you have to work twice as hard because of this, that, and the other. And we had a conversation because she did that with her oldest daughter. But now, with the election, this is what came up. It's because, Kamala, she was always at the top of her class. She was the great of the great, the best of the best, and it still didn't work out for her to be president, right? So it's like, sometimes, and I had another conversation with somebody, and we were just saying that we are so geared as African Americans to teach our children to be the best of the best, and it adds a lot of stress on them, right? We want you to have the best that you can be, right? Getting them to say you got to work twice as hard because of this and that, like, it adds so much stress on them. And then if they don't get it, it's almost like, well, they didn't put enough effort into it. But that's not true.
Right, because I feel it's how you approach it too.
Yeah, we put so much pressure on our kids, and I'm guilty of it because I've done that with my oldest. I don't do that with the other ones now. What do you want to be? How do you want to show up in this world?
Yep.
What impact you want to be? Because then we're going to work towards that.
Let me expose you to something.
Yeah, because a lot of times, and it's because we've always been taught you got to be just as twice as better. You got to work twice as hard because of your skin color, right? But that adds so much pressure on our children. It's like they're not enough.
Right. And see, I'm sorry, but my baby is the best.
But
and I know him, and
that's
I know
the thing.
when
because there's a difference.
When I'm doing too much and when I'm not, and he will get too lackadaisy on stuff that he's like, it's just easy to me, right? But that still doesn't mean you don't have to put in the work. Yeah.
Right. But you have a relationship, and a lot of times parents don't have a relationship with their kids. They're literally just saying, I need you to show up in the world a certain way, because we put our expectations on them, not how they really need to live for themselves.
I need you to, Mom, Dad,
He'll show up. He'll say, Mom, I did my best.
Yeah,
all right,
that's all we ask. Yeah. So, but it takes a relationship with your children. Like, you know how far to push them. Like, I know how far to push my kids now. Like, for example, when Lizzie was talking about the military, she had already signed up. She wanted to go, but towards the end, it started getting harder, and she had so many different challenges. And then she was like, never mind, I'm going to work at Panera Bread. I said, who?
No, she didn't.
I said, who? But I had to get indignant to tell her that's a no. And because now, mind you, she was high honor society. She was, doing all these things. And she was like, I'm just going to go work at Panera Bread and maybe take off for a year and go back. And just said, who, where, how? Yep. And I was so, and I literally was like, you ain't living here doing that. Like, I literally had to go there because I knew what was in her.
Yes.
I knew what she wanted, right? It wasn't like I was forcing something on her that I wanted for myself, because a lot of times parents do.
Yes.
Right.
But because of our relationship, and I knew what she wanted, and I had to show up as a mom, because as parents we make unpopular decisions, right?
Right.
And I
All
don't care because I'm not your little friend.
Right.
So
I don't get to be your friend until you move out.
Yeah. It's like, because now she was on the phone away here, like we was vibing, But you got to know your child. And when we talk about parental involvement, I said all that to say, because that's why parental involvement is so important, because as you have a relationship with your children, you're able to know how much to push them. And then you're able to say, okay, is this for him or her, or is it for me?
And then even thinking about my son in his early years, he got the caffeine when he was in the NICU. He was a little busy. He was busy.
Same thing, Josh.
But always
man.
very smart, but the teachers didn't see that.
Yeah.
So I had to make sure that they saw it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, Kai, come on, let's go. And he knew it. That was what structured him throughout life, thank goodness, because that's what mommy knew. But so that he can show his best self. And they were like, Kyron, who? He
No,
read?
seriously.
Wait, that Kyron said, like, he was moving around all the time, whatever.
Kai was
Oh,
busy.
man.
He would kick the teacher in the backside.
Like, they had
'Cause
to
he was so
Yo, Joshua was so busy. Like, you know those weighted vests?
Yes, I love those.
Yo, because they had, this boy would not, like, they had a weighted vest. Listen, he went to nursing kids in medical daycare, right?
Yes.
And they had him doing laundry and everything because he could not, they was like, he carrying he carrying oxygen, he got his feet into, and he literally, this boy would not sit down.
Wow.
He carrying the little girl oxygen. Like,
Let me tell you, babies are
But then
different.
give him what he needs, you know?
but I said all that because you said something about that caffeine, right? And because it does have lasting effects on our children, and sometimes we don't think about it when they're doing this, that, and the other. And the first thing they do when they diagnose them with ADHD and all this other stuff. But then you have to look at their history. Like, now we just need to settle down, like Joe Clark. Settle down, folks. Settle down.
Yes.
Lock the door. Settle down.
And
get
then
the
find
chains
their
off.
thing. What is his thing? What is going to help him focus more? What is it? If it's the video games, how can we channel that so it's still academically based,
Yeah.
you know? So it's like,
I like you
finding
said
their
that.
thing.
Find out what works best for them.
Yes.
I like how you said that because so many. I was so against video games and stuff, but I didn't realize it actually was helping him.
Yes.
He did a lot better because he had fine motor skills issues. He had fine motor. He had a lot of different things. But by him doing that, because I mean, he didn't tie his shoe. I think till he was like 9 or 10 because he really had difficulty. And we talk about it now that he's 16. He was like, yo, I ain't even tied my shoe until I was like 9
Remember
or 10.
Kai used to do puzzles? My son was a puzzle maniac. Like on the tablet where you had to fit the pieces in the right place. He was a puzzle maniac. He could do like the fitting puzzles. So we were puzzles. Then it was Legos. Now he's too big for that. But okay, you can do it on the
Amazing
video
at
game.
Legos.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like you got to find what they're great at and let them be great.
Yes.
I like that because so often like we try to put more pressure on them than they really have the capacity. And you know, we should be stretching their capacity, right? But at the same time, there's a particular way that it needs to be done. Exactly. And I like your approach with it. Yo, you funny. Like I'm just sitting here like I'm looking at you and I'm just thinking about 50 different characters right now.
I probably can do them all.
I can't even look at you and Kim no more. Like I just want to.
Do I have to be sometimes even to as an adult, you know, to get through things. I gotta be somebody else right now. I'm still me, but I know that whatever it is that the reason that I'm here for, the message that I have to give, you know, I'm willing to do that. You know, put myself back so that I can help you increase or move to where you need to be.
That's
and then
good.
I'm gonna be myself again.
Yeah.
And every now and again, in between that, I might gotta be myself because it's too much, you know.
Right.
But you know, and I'm learning because I can tell you the hard truth, but I'm a little bit more catering to people, so I'm learning those things still now, right? You know,
but I think there's times where you need to be accommodating, right? And then there's times where you need to
back
like.
off.
Yeah.
No, I wasn't going there, sis. But okay,
I'm sorry.
this one right here,
And
y'all.
even with my parents being a little bit more, you know, forceful. You know, they're cute and they want to feed me and everything. Okay, but can you stay here for a minute?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, well, we're going to let you take over when you get here. I'll be like, I don't know what to do.
Oh.
I don't know. And you know, I got to play another role. And they be like, can you show me what you do when you do that? And they be looking at me like, come on.
Right.
Do you have a parent who was like, just like not engaged at all? And then you like, now when you come, it's like they're ready to learn something new to help them be more active, proactive, and a better show up better for their child?
I would say about 80% of my caseload, because they don't get that I'm here really to teach you to work with your child. Not that I'm gonna play, because some therapists may do that, but 80% I would say.
Wow.
They are like, what we gonna do now?
That is excellent.
Yeah.
So that speaks volumes.
We'll leave because they crying. oh, you care that they cry. I don't care that you cry. You're going to get used to it. So, you know, it's fine. No, I don't want you to go because then you're going to get used to leaving.
Right.
This is your child. And guess what? If they cry, maybe they're saying they don't feel safe with me just yet. That's okay.
Right.
Make them feel safe, and now you make them do what I'm trying to do. So
Right.
you can be the bad guy, too. So it's like, we have to
Kiss
keep
her. I ain't
going.
gonna be the bad guy by myself around here.
Yep. And then I have parents, sometimes I can see it in them or on them that they need to take a break.
Right.
You know, okay, well, we're going to sing this song. We're going to do this because I do routines. I always have to sing hello. Don't you stop me from saying hello because they be like, oh, yeah. Nope, he has to wave or she has to wave. That's what we do. And I'll do a few things and let them go. And I'll say, you know, Mom, it's like it's time to come back. Oh, look at this. Let me show you how to do this so we can work on it next week. Not making them feel bad for, sometimes it is a lot.
Yeah,
2-year-olds.
whew, man,
I
listen.
tell you.
2 years. Listen. Who kids?
But I get to leave. You don't. So you're going to have to learn how to deal with this.
I like that. Like, I get to leave and you don't. So my job is to get you to a place where you're comfortable enough to be able to do this for your child because you are your child's first teacher.
Right. And I always say,
Confidence,
I'm
too, 'cause
exaggerating.
the kid can see that.
Yeah, I'm exaggerated. You're not going to do everything that I'm doing while I'm here for this 1 hour.
Girl, because ain't nobody making no voices. No, girl.
I said, I want you to get a snippet, and then I want to leave them with something. Okay, that didn't work with the blind. Oh, okay, he can do this. So now he can work on taking things out. Because as always, I want to leave a takeaway. I give them homework.
I love it.
Yeah.
Because you're not just giving tools. I remember when we was with the girls, and they're like, they just give us all this stuff and expect us to do it. Like,
and
what?
these are adults. They're like 19 to 24 young girls who we mentor. And they were upset that people were just handing them stuff like
and not instructing them or telling them, all right, I'm going to give you this packet, but in this packet, this is what you're going to find. The first 3 pages are this. We'll do the first one together.
Right.
We'll go to the next chapter.
Teaching,
Do this. Exactly. And that's what you do. You're not just giving them the tools. You're not just showing them. You're helping them be able to apply it for when you're there and from when you're not.
Exactly.
And I love that.
Exactly.
I got another question. Do you teach people how to do this little voice thing? Because I'm enamored, right?
Kylie, I'm giving you a shout out. She came to me. She was like, "How you do that baby voice?" So I was telling her, I said, "It's in the throat." And she was sitting there trying to do it. So yes.
Because I'm just thinking, right, Kim, you know, I get your services, right? And you doing all this with the kid. And then you leave and they look at me thinking I'm supposed to make some noise. I'll be like, yo, we need to get Kim on speed dial because we need this recording. Because they looking like
she like on like the platforms or like Google.
I taught students with autism, right? A class of children with autism, and they all had a different sound. And I'm like, I'm the teacher. So I would go, hey, I'm the loudest person in here. And they sat down and looked at me like, what in the world? Hey, it works. All right, look, one, let's go. And they be like, she's... They
like flag on the
like,
flag.
What
like,
do I need to do? I'll do it. If I need to get down, like I sit on the floor when I come in. I sit on the floor even when I do my first visit and I'm writing the notes. And they're like, you can sit in the chair. Nope, this is where I'm going to be. This is where they are. Put them down here. Come on down here.
Right, meet them. Yeah. That whole thing, Kim, about meeting what they are is just really blowing my mind. And not just saying it, but demonstrate it by even just physically, like going on the floor, like not just developmentally, emotionally meeting them where they are, but actually getting down. I call it getting in the mess. Like you get in there. You know, if you want to know how sand feel, it's one thing you up here, but it's something else when you sit down in there and you're doing it. It's like just you can make all these little angels in the sand.
So not just sitting on the surface, but going below.
Yeah.
So I learned that when Kai was in speech therapy. Well, it was I would go and learn something. I would go home and practice. Then they would come to the house. And first they would videotape what was happening before the lesson. I go get the lesson and they come back and videotape after I implemented it. And that's my mindset. Okay, let me show you. Then when I come back, I want to see what you did. And then if we need tweaks, we're going to tweak it. So it's like they called it getting down on the child's level.
Yeah,
you know? So, okay, I can be down here too, and then it's more fun.
Right, and it's not intimidating. Like, you standing up above me. Like, I'm sitting, like, I mean, like, when somebody's 6 foot and they stand over top of me, I'm just like,
And
What's
I
up?
learned that being in early education, like even when the state comes and evaluates your classrooms and different things,
Yes.
for certain age groups, it's for you to be in their eyesight, on their level.
Yeah, yeah.
When you're not, it is intimidation. They will step back. It does bring fear and different things. Versus when you're on that carpet doing
Yes.
carpet time, the kids always love carpet time. I remember they used to be like, "What are y'all really doing in here?"
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I used to be
Like,
like,
what's going on with the
getting
carpet?
the job done. if I need my kids to do this, and guess what
Yeah.
they would say? We know who kid that is. Even parents would be like, "Can she please be my kids?" They'd be like, "Them kids act just like you." To all the other kids on the playground, they're so mature, they're so prepared, but they know what they needed to know.
Yes.
Right,
They were on
Yes.
point because, like you said, meeting them on their level.
Level.
Not I'm the adult, not I'm
Right.
superior. No,
Right.
we're
Yes.
doing this together. We're gonna learn this together. Guess what? I accidentally skipped 4. What comes after 3?
Right.
What
Right.
comes
You can
before
do it too,
5?
yeah.
And
Yeah.
they go, you messed up.
Uh-huh.
Yes. Adults
Yeah.
mess up too.
Right.
And when they would see that, and then they'd start doing. I said, no, you do the right thing.
She said, no, don't do that.
But just showing them that transparency, being there with them, like, so I really love that you bring that out, because when I would get down on the floor, sometimes I would sit in the chair. We had like the big chair,
Yes.
and I noticed the response I would get. I felt like I was always having to redirect.
Yes.
Right.
Redirect. It would get so tiring that after circle time, it's like, let's just go outside for a second.
Right.
Right.
But when I would sit down on the carpet, even when I was pregnant with Victoria, sitting down on the carpet with them, it just was like spectacular. It was like
they
magic.
understand. Oh, okay, I can relate to this person. They're down. I have a client. She's at a daycare because I see them in the community wherever they are. I tell parents we can meet at the park. But when she sees her other therapist, the teacher told me she cries the whole time.
Wow.
I come in, sometimes she'll cry. I'm like, who? No, girl, this is your best friend. She be like, okay. All right,
See,
cool.
yeah.
Because it's like, look, you're not going to outdo me. We're going to have a
Kim
good time
like,
together.
Kim like, what y'all ain't going to
You
do?
know what I
I'm going to be the
mean,
loudest
right.
running the room today.
And then the other kids all coming. I was like, I love y'all too, but let me get my kid. And if I don't engage with them, they're like, They hitting me and stuff. Okay, fine. Guess what? We got to do a group activity. Let's go.
Right.
The teacher's like, I don't care. Go ahead.
Yeah, I like that. I know, like, I have medically complex babies right now, and one of my baby, I read to her, right? She's on oxygen and everything, and so I didn't know this, but the grandma had told me that Dolly Parton gives free books.
Yes.
Right. So that's how she gets all her books.
Imagination Library.
Yeah, thank you. Imagination, and that's how she get all her books. So books come in every month. So I was sitting there reading. Now, mind you, this baby, she's on oxygen and all this, and she's about 15 months now, but she was born in 26 weeks. So she's only like 14 pounds or something, right? So I'm sitting there reading to her, and she's so attentive. Like, she literally, as I'm flipping, she's learning how to flip. Like, she's doing what I'm doing,
Yes.
like moving her hands, because she's in all types of therapy
Yes.
too, and flip. So then I set her in her chair. Don't you know this girl sat there and held the book like she was reading it?
Nice.
I took a picture and sent it to her
Nice.
mom. Her
See?
mom was crying, and I was like, wow, like, just because a child has these delays, right, developmental delays, premature things like that, that don't mean that they can't learn. That's
right.
That don't mean that you wait until they get to a certain place where you think that they really understand it. Like, you gotta do
to start working
it
on
from
it.
birth, like in the womb, actually. So you gotta keep, like, it really blew my mind. Like, she literally was like with the pages, and
Consistency,
Yeah.
routine. And let's say she couldn't do this with the pages. She can hold her book. You can hold her hand. So it's something she can do.
I
in
started
her
with that.
routine.
Like, that's how she started with. Like,
Okay.
we were holding. I was like, hold it with me, and then I'm
Yes.
talking to her. I don't do
Yes.
them other things. I'm talking to her. I don't do baby talk. I talk to these babies like I've never done baby talk. I'm always just
I
say,
just do
listen.
the baby cry.
The baby cry, okay. Because I'm like, I need you to speak English. The whole baby talk got to go. Like, we need to get away from this baby talk as soon as possible. I need to understand we need to communicate effectively,
You never
okay?
heard of parent tease?
Yeah.
Now, little babies, you're supposed to go, hi. You're supposed to
Yeah,
do that.
I know.
Parent tease.
I'm not the one. I'm like, listen. I'm telling you, I'm
Hold on. What's the movie with the emotions? Inside Out.
Oh, yes.
yeah. Listen, I'm not baby talking to baby, and I know it's crazy. I'm a pediatric nurse. You would think that, because in my mind.
Donna's giving all the emotions.
Listen, I'm like, listen here, what we doing? Like, because I need to be able to understand you eventually, like all this. So it worked out. All the kids, my kids been reading early age and all that. So anyway, but I thought it was amazing that even with being so complex, that we still need to pour into our children.
Yes, we do.
And they can still, like you said, consistency and routine really can do it. Like, don't let, and that's the other thing I wanted to tell people, is don't let a diagnosis or what a doctor say or what anybody say about your kid, you still put in the work with your kid.
Yes, you do.
And give them all the resources possible so that they can be successful. And whatever success is for them in their capacity. But don't be afraid to stretch their capacity either.
Exactly. Exactly.
I have a question. I know, Pam, you got your finger out because I know that's a question.
No, it's not a question.
Okay, wait, that's not what you're doing. You know she went like that.
I
You're
want you
saying that.
to speak in the mic and say
okay.
like what it is that you do that's yours that you birthed.
Oh, okay.
She birthed Kai.
Yeah, he's always gonna be mine. I'm trying to remember.
You're being disgusting right now.
I'm sorry, sis. I'm sorry, sis. Okay, I'm behave.
So it's Creative Connections Virtual Preschool, and what it is a preschool readiness program. I'm virtual. There's different platforms. Parents can access the video library ad-free, and they can access me for live teacher. As well as the video library. And what I do is I introduce the necessary skills to get your child preschool ready with the parent in mind. So what I give them is an outline of what they need to do, and then the parent takes it and runs with it. So I'm giving them, okay, so we're gonna work on a letter, a color, a number. It's always the same routine. Social emotional skill, a life science skill. So I give them the outline of what it's supposed to be, and I introduce it. I give them homework. I don't play about my homework. So when I see you the next time, I need to see your color. You need to be showing me something, your color, what arts and craft activity you did, what letter. You need to go around the house with your child and find things. So I'll give them things to do to get their child to master that skill.
Makes them be involved.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because you think, oh, okay, I'm a stay-at-home mom. I might work online. So your child, yes, for 30 minutes may be watching me, but that's just the intro. You need to watch the video too, and then you need to go around and do these things, because when they come back, I want them to have that vocabulary to discuss it. So, so I am a stay-at-home mom, dad tool to get your child kindergarten ready.
Right.
Do you have a website?
Yes, it's creativeconnectionspreschool.com.
Okay.
I like that because
Connections with an S.
I like that because not all kids actually can go to preschool. Well, they all can go, but not for free is what I'm saying. Like, parents are really paying high amount of money for these kids to go to preschool, and the only way that you go to some of these programs if you have a delay or something like that. And I think that is utterly ridiculous.
It is. I know.
Like,
that's why I had mine.
Yeah.
Because some kids,
delay.
when you're 3, if you don't still have a delay, it has to be a 25% delay. That is in Delaware. You don't get services.
You don't get services.
Yeah. So I said, hey, Miss Kim can go somewhere else.
I like that.
Yep.
So it's called Creative
Connections Virtual Preschool.
Virtual.
$45.50 a month.
What? Ain't no way.
This is the introductory, 70% off.
Ain't no
for
way.
one live class and access to the video library. If you just want the library, $19.50 a month. You can't be.
Yo. And see, here's the thing, because a lot of times when we want additional resources, we can't afford them.
Yes.
Right? And it's like, well, I'm out here trying to do something strange for some change.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, for parents, I'm right. Parents be trying to do what they got to do for their kids. Pam, don't look at me like that. That's what they be having.
Delete one of your subscriptions to get that for your kid.
No, and as it really evolves, I'm gonna be reaching out to others, because
I like
$19.50 is still a stretch. $45 a month is still a stretch. There's other people who can help and support that.
Yeah, but I like that because you're given the resources, because one of the things that we hear from parents is like lack of resources. And here at Parents with a Purpose, like our goal and our aim is to make sure that we get the resources in the hand of the people that needs them. And I think your program is phenomenal. I think that, you know, a lot of times we don't really think about the preschool age. You know, a lot of times we don't start until they get in kindergarten. It's like, what? By then it's late, okay?
Yes. Yep.
We need to be doing it from birth. That way that, you know, your child can get the best. And I like the fact that, I wanted to go back for a second, I'm sorry. When you were talking about emotional, you even tap into that.
Yes.
Because a lot of times if a child hasn't went to a traditional preschool, they don't know how to deal with their emotions and things like that when they go into kindergarten. And a lot of these teachers are dealing with more emotional and behavioral issues than academic, right?
Yes.
So I like how you incorporate like all the needs to make sure that these kids have the tools to be successful.
Right, and well-rounded. And then again, helping the parent who, you know, they're thinking ABC. Okay, it's more than just ABCs when it comes to being school ready, because especially if they're home now, they're going to have to deal with all the ins and outs and, you know, the routines and everything that comes along with school. And that's waiting your turn. It's not all about you. That's saying please and thank you, all of those things that you need.
Right.
As well as getting used to what the world has to offer.
Transition.
Right.
Yes.
I like that because you introduced the sciences. I had I watched a lot of things, but it was an educator on there, and she was talking about that we think sometimes that we're teaching our kids by just singing them ABCs, but then you recognize that outside of that song they don't know it, and
Can't identify.
or if you say one letter, they may be able to go forward with the next letter, but not be able to go backwards with the other letter. And the same is with numbers. So just teaching them a little deeper than the surface stuff that we've learned for years, you know. And it's crazy because they took all this time to figure out that math, the way we was taught math, like I said, this is it because it's it and not being explained. So now our kids is trying to learn this math where you have to explain it. And then the parents who we were told not to explain JAG, and now we all confused with this math now. It's so crazy how things go backwards. It's crazy. Like when you were trying to explain, I don't know, you might not know this, Pam, but so
Don't laugh.
just had to laugh. Like when we were growing up, Kim, when we were trying to do math, and they're like, no, you have to do it this way, or you have to do it that way. One answer, right? And now the kids can do 50 answers. I'm like, and then we were wrong when we were trying to do it 50 different ways, and now these kids can do it 50 ways, and now because they done stunt our growth, trying to do it, and now we don't know what to do with these kids. They smarter than us these days.
You have to think of it this way, right? I know.
and they walking around, well, I'm smarter than my mom. No, your mom knew this back in the day, but they stunt my growth. Okay,
hey, I got through high school. I pat my son on the back because he was like, I thought he said to me, I don't know how to do this. And I looked at the thing and it was like a number and 2 letters and and I said, what'd you say? But he would say, I'm doing this now. I said, oh, cool. I had to help you.
I had to help you. Okay, man, we had fun, Kim. Our time is pretty much up. Fun. And this has really been exciting and really eye-opening because, I think everybody has a different perspective, right? So I kind of like, even when I brought up the Dr. Umar thing, you came with your perspective of how you were processing it, and I came how I was processing it. And we both were processing it differently, but it was still kind of getting to the same goal. Yep. And I like that. Again, here at Parenting with a Purpose, we have uncomfortable conversations. Everything is on the table here. And not just my perspective is not the only perspective I want you guys to hear. And that's why we bring experts in here and people who just, live the life too, have some experience, not just by trade, but actual life experience. So we certainly appreciate you coming to the show and just breaking it down and showing us parents how we can connect with our kids and how we have to be advocates for our kids.
Yes. Absolutely.
And I really appreciate that. What you got, ma'am? Did you roll your eyes? See, Pam,
tell them about me being a great auntie.
She is an excellent aunt. Like, I love her so much. But one reason I don't like her sometimes because I wanted her to teach Victoria the whole time. And she said, I can't just do her, but I'll get her on the weekends and stuff. But she's very excellent. Anytime you have questions, you're just unsure of things, she's reachable. She'll meet you where you at. she doesn't make you feel like, oh, I'm being a bad parent. It's like, oh, you were doing this. She's going to acknowledge what you are actually doing. So like we said, here at Parents of Purpose, it's not just about giving you the tools or the resources, but showing you how to utilize them, when to utilize them. And even if you're unsure of things, we are available for you to connect with us. We can set up Zooms, Meets, whatever you want to do. And also, Kim, like she said, she's available. Not just by her program and her business, but she's available for however and whatever resources and help that you need to help your child be the best that they can be. Dig in, going below the surface to help bring them up because they have somewhere to go.
All right, I like that. And Kim, information will be on our Parenting with a Purpose page.
Yes.
So every guest that we have on here, we will list their resources on our page so that you know how to connect with them, because we're here to help you. We thank you guys again for joining Parenting with a Purpose. I am your host, Donna Janel.
And I am your co-host, Pamela.
And this was Kim Levan.
Kim okay, or Miss Kim.
Miss Kim. So we certainly thank you for tuning in. Again, Parenting with Purpose every Thursday live on cmpradio.net, on YouTube, Facebook. You can follow us on Parenting with Purpose page on Facebook, and just stay connected and reach out to us, because we will, if we don't know how to do something or we don't have the resources, we will find those resources for y'all. We work day in and day out to try to make sure that parents get what they need to be successful. So thank you guys again for joining Parents with a Purpose. You guys have a great night.
Have fun parenting.
Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of Parenting with a Purpose.
Be sure to follow us every Thursday night at 7 p.m. at Parenting with a Purpose. You can find us wherever you listen to your podcast. Be sure to look up Parenting with a Purpose.